There's a way to do that. So,
Okay.
and I can speak on it because I was one of those people, like, I want to have multiple streams, I want to have 7 different streams. It's not what you want. You want one stream that you can run up in 7 different ways.
Know what it takes to be a winner.
So, welcome everyone. We are live in the DC Incentives podcast. And you already know I gotta give it a live moment. And I'm here with a fresh dude. And I'm trying to be drippy. You feel me? This guy right here, I gotta be drippy on her. You feel me? So please introduce yourself.
What's going on? Happy to be here, man. My name is Kaleb Lewis, also known as KB the Trainer. I am a personal trainer. I've recently retired for the last 10 years. So I'm been a full-time entrepreneur. I've been in different fields of real estate, modeling, and acting. That's actually how we met. But I'm in a space right now to helping coaching other trainers how to build and structure their business. And in between that, I do business funding myself. And I just love helping people, man. I just love helping people and loving serving the people and really giving, get the game that has not been given.
All right, that's what's going on. So talk about a brief, all right, so continue on for your journey. What made you start with your fitness journey? Let's start with that.
Oh, being depressed.
Word.
Yeah, really. I never wanted to be a trainer. I never was inspired to do it. I had a background of basketball in high school. Played basketball my whole life, but when it came down after high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I went to St. John's University. I studied marketing, and I was working and I was in school, and I'm like, yo, this is not it. And the job I had was terrible, but I worked at a school, and as I was out of school, it was going good for me, far as in I was learning working with kids, being a counselor, and then they let me go because of budget cuts. So I'm like, that was my first hit of the real world, and when that happened, I'm like, yeah, I can't be at anybody's disposal like this again. So you go through the stage of being a millennial. I don't want to work for nobody. I want to be my own boss. I was still looking for work, but my notions was never to work for somebody again.
Gotcha.
And I was just stressed out because I couldn't help support my family when it comes to paying bills or just being self-sufficient. So I used to work out, and I worked out a lot, and I would literally go running. Like a lot of trainers, most trainers, people hate cardio. That was my way out. I would just go for a run. And I was like my scapegoat when it came to my problems, my situation. And I found that was therapeutic for me. Because I always worked out, try to get abs. Girls love abs. Wanted to look good at the beach, at the pool party. But when I realized mentally, it did something different to me. And emotionally. And I just fell in love with it. And how it actually started for me, that's how fitness, my love for fitness became, because it felt like everything I was trying to do wasn't working. The only thing I control is me going to the gym. But literally one of my friends from high school, she saw me post on my Instagram. This is before I had a training page, and it's like, yo, can I go to the gym with you? I'm like, if you got gas money.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? We not doing that. You be like, listen, you want me to ride with me? Alright, you gotta put some gas on this, man. This ain't no free gas, you feel me?
But at that point, I didn't even have my own car, but just enough to put enough gas in my sister's car. So I used to charge her $5. She lived down the block from me. We go to Planet Fitness, and she'll do her thing, I do my thing. And then she like, well, what about my butt and my thighs? I'm like, I'm not a trainer. Like, why you asking me this? Like, so from there, she just kept asking me every time going. I'm a type of person like, I'm gonna try to figure it out. I'm just a natural problem solver. And I started learning how to do squats and stuff myself. I'm like, yo, this actually hurt. So and then we was going at it like 4 or 5, sometimes 6 days a week. And we used to be in the gym for like 2 hours because she was talking about her journey, what she wanted to do, be in the fashion industry. And 3 or 4 months later, her body changed dramatically. And out of nowhere, I'm just like, yeah, I don't even know what happened. And then we went to a high school reunion party, one of my friends, close friends. And, we all got together. And it was like, what you do to Michelle? I'm like, I ain't doing nothing. I just showed her what I know. And he was like, you're a trainer? I'm like, nah, I'm not a trainer. I'm just out here just trial and error. And literally her cousin was like, I'll pay you. I'm like, pay me for what? She was like, yo, I'll pay you if you could help me like help my cousin. And that's when I really had a moment with myself, like, yo, I love helping people. I love fitness. Let me see if I can put it together, make something happen. Her cousin never came. But that's how it is sometimes. It's there just to spark your brain. Her cousin came afterwards, but it was my mom hairdresser who first actually paid me. And the reason that was so pivotal for me, because she was like, what you charge? I'm like, I don't know. Like, well, I don't know what's the market. So I'm like, yo, give me $20. She was like, so how many sessions are there? I was like, 3. She was like, all right, but I don't have a car. I'm like, I'll pick you up. So yeah, so I was literally giving out, crackhead prices because I wanted to see. I just wanted enough to put enough gas in my sister's car. That was one. So once I clear that overhead, I'm good. But 2, I want to see if I was actually good at it.
Yeah.
So I charged her $20. When she gave me the first $20, I dropped it off and I cried, like literally, when she went in the house. And because I watched Steve Harvey before then, he was like, yo, if you do what you love, you never work another day in your life.
Facts.
So
that's a fact.
Yeah, so that $20, and I'm like, yo, I could do this again. And I didn't it was cash flow, tax free at that time. So it's like, I actually could do this. And I think that's what sparked me to realize, like, yo, I can really make something of myself when it comes to this. But yeah, that's how the training empire, began.
So I just want everybody to really marinate on that. Like, you see how God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, for sure.
So you didn't even know that fitness was even part of your journey.
Yeah, nah, not at all.
And it came to a point where it was like, all right, your gift is going to be helping people get healthy, get fit.
Yeah.
That's what your gift. That was one of your gifts.
Yeah.
And I know you have many gifts, but God was like, that's going to be one of your gifts to help people.
Yeah, and it's powerful because I was really searching for myself. So it's like 19, 20 years old, you're really trying to figure out who you are in this world. And I prayed a lot, and I tried to look for clarity. So because my mother at the time, she still wasn't jacking that I dropped out of St. John's. So my history with school is I was the 90 average student. So everybody was like, oh, I'm the ideal guy. You go to St. John's, you study in marketing.
Yep.
We trying to be like you.
Right?
I dropped out the first semester. So the challenge from being at home, being the youngest, and saying, yo, I'm not doing this, it was different. So me being the challenger of my family, like, nah, I'm not working for nobody, and I'm not going to school. They like, so what you gonna do? I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out. So I think a lot of young people do have the same energy, but they don't have the same work ethic. So I was working every day, training every day, making content every day. And I think that was the difference for me. This is for Instagram even had videos. Like, before you had DMs, before you even had a story, like, you just had to put out content that helped people. And that was my thing, is like, show people that I'm working, I'm doing this. And I wasn't making no money. Like, the money didn't come until after. And I think I just want people to understand that, like, you got to put in the work first before the money get there.
Gotcha. So it's not all about the money. It's all about the journey and the journey of what you take. Yeah,
the money is definitely important, but in the beginning, it's going what cost? The cost is time. So you might not have the money, but it's what it costs you to make a video in front of your phone for 30 seconds, for 60 seconds. So that you keep doing that constantly every day, eventually you're going to be getting better, you're going to be getting traction, somebody's going to reach out to you.
So after that, after the beginning, how many clients did you have?
What, in total? Like that I
Yes.
helped? I don't know. It's like definitely a few thousands, because...
Few thousands?
Yeah.
How much was you charging?
Like, how you get?
What are you gonna be like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been 10 years, so you gotta think about it. So 10 years of helping people. So what really, kind of shocked me too is that when I dropped my app in 2018. Gotcha. So virtual training, I helped people that I never met before. And then it actually was funny because yesterday I was speaking to a girl. She was like, yeah, I use your app and I lost 50 pounds. It was part of it. Like, she was doing her own journey, but she said, well, I use your app, I seen results. She never told me that. Like, she was on it, got results, never told. I'm like, yo, you never said anything. So, it could be 10,000, but I don't know, because some people are very private when it comes to their results and sharing their progress.
Gotcha.
But the virtual training opened up the doors to reach people that wasn't in the tri-state area or local area.
Okay. And as far as like, you know, you said you had a few thousands, right?
Yeah, I would say a few, not that many, because I know it wasn't a lot, because even when I set up my training, I wanted to be more personal. So I didn't have like big, large classes. Small group was my main thing. I actually hate doing one-on-one training. Yeah. A lot of people not gonna say that, but it was boring to me because there's only one focus point, and then that person is not going based off someone else. So like when I have like a lot of women be in secret competition because I train women. So if she's doing 20 squats, you're gonna like, all right, I want to do 20 squats too. You don't want to be that person. So it was friendly competition within my group sessions.
Gotcha.
And you'll see people going a little bit harder, knowing that, yo, you dying over these 10 squats, but I have to do 30. And it just changes your psyche. Like, yo, I know I can do a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So that's why I love the group sessions, because they feed off each other's energy.
And when you only trained women?
Yeah, at probably like my third or fourth year, I actually like I'm only training women, and that was another thing too, because I had to realize who I was helping and what I wanted to be good at. And when it came down to it, you know, the guys, they wasn't loyal to the brand. Like they would, you know, guys have egos, so you help them out. It's like, I got it from here. And it's like, yo, I can't grow my business with people, because they'll get results quick. They'll slim up, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, because, you know, they say it's much easier for men to get in shape. And I'm just like, yo, that's not consistent clientele. And the guys don't want to feel like they have, you know, a mentor. They don't want to have a coach. They feel like they can do everything by themselves, superheroes.
That's of course, the ego, yeah.
So when it helps for women, they'll talk about your brand, they'll spread it, you know, free promotion. And then what it really made it even deeper is that seeing a lot of women feeling like they have to get surgery, and they feel like they achieve a certain look. So I'm like, yo, it's possible with weights, but I was never training in a gym. So when I actually was training like on my own little spaces, private spaces. So when I actually got resources and I'll actually go to a gym space, I'm like, yo, I really can show women how to build their curves. Well, be fit without losing their curves. And when I stamped that, I just became a master at it, kind of trying to keep helping the same person. And, you know, now it's like, you know, people think my transformation is Photoshop. So, which is a good thing. I used to be offended by it, but it just shows the work that we put in. So then I was like, nah, I only train women so I could help them in that era, because I had clients who had surgery, you know, went to get surgery, but at the same time, they didn't know it was possible. So that was their only choice by default. Gotcha. And a lot was like, yo, I wish I met you earlier, a year ago. I'm like, it's all good.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's only train women.
And okay, so after that, your story. So now you retired.
Yeah.
What made you retire?
Fulfillment. I would say fulfillment, far as in doing everything I want to do on my list of things. I know I wanted virtual training came afterwards and later in my journey, but I know I wanted to help as many people as possible. Then also helping with the stigma of, you know, them achieving a certain look.
Gotcha.
And then also realizing helping my clients mentally and with financial literacy as well. So after doing these certain things, traveling, you know, doing I would say boot camps in different states, it was like, yo, I think I hit everything on my list. Like, what can I do more? Because it came to a point in time where I was helping people, and it's not only was expected, like before, like it was like I want a 90-day transformation, then it turned to 60 days, then turned to 30 days. Now people get results in 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
But my thing was, I have to keep helping them.
Yeah.
Like I help them, you know, and they end up having a baby.
Yep.
Or they end up getting married, and then come back, they fall off and come back again.
Gotcha.
It's like, yo, I'm not really growing. Like I'm making money, you know, granted, I'm thankful for that, but it's not like a new challenge for me. So it became very like expected, was so much certainty, was no uncertainty left.
So wow. Yo, you have a powerful journey. I'm not, that's, yo, that, and when I say God works in mysterious ways, he definitely, that's you, because it's a very powerful, you have a powerful journey.
Appreciate
definitely.
it.
And I can see that you're like, you're gonna have a legendary moment, not a moment, a movement.
Yeah, I appreciate
definitely. You're definitely gonna have a legendary. So now, talk about what else you doing. So now that you're retired, you got acting.
Yeah.
You're doing acting in the film industry. So now, what else?
So yeah, acting is definitely something I want to get back to. I definitely want to get back to. I feel like I didn't finish it, you know, because there's certain projects out there that didn't get finished or didn't get, you know, just the timing of everything. So acting, modeling is something that, you know, I do for myself now. But I was with an agency. My biggest peak with that, I was on all the New York City buses. Oh yeah, or VIM. Yeah.
Yo, that's lit. What?
Yeah, so
that's lit. Wait, so you like your whole face, like your face was in New York City buses? What?
Yeah,
that's lit.
Every bus in the city. So that was fire. I wish they put my name at that time, but that was actually a dope experience because for a whole year I was saying I want to be on a billboard.
Gotcha.
Because I was going heavy, you know, with the modeling, doing, you know, fashion shows. Then I got signed to a talent agency, doing a couple commercials. So that was something that was like, yo, I actually excited to do because you know, people from the hood, you don't see them modeling. Like, you don't see that, especially a black male, you know, heterosexual black male at that. So when I went in that space, that was cool. And then after that was real estate. I became a realtor. My brother, he's a mortgage loan officer, and he's like, yo, if you take the test, we can work together. So real estate is one of those things where I've seen my family have houses and lose them, and I see them, you know, we never owned a house at that time, and I'm like, I want to be able to learn this. Let me get in the game so I can at least have something on my own.
Gotcha.
So I became an agent, and I've been doing that for like the last 5 years, so a few million in properties.
This is real estate.
Yeah, talking. Real estate. Yeah, as a realtor.
Yeah.
So I always used to tie all that back to training because I used to give my clients, you know, gems and financial literacy on whatever I know. And I think it was bigger than me just getting them results. It was more of a brand and a community where it's like, you know, you train with me, but you actually gonna get way more than just that. If you only got that, then you probably just wasn't really tapped in as much. But I'm always offering, you know, all my services, you know, basically being a plug of whatever I got, I'll try to offer it to my clients in my circle.
Gotcha.
So then from there, that led to me jumping into business funding. And with the business funding, because my situation with my clients was the only reason they stopped training me because they got pregnant, not by me, but they got pregnant because their body looked a certain way or financial situation, or, you know, it might be work or they moved. That pretty was the main three reasons. So I'm like, yo, if I could help them put money in their pocket or help them save money, then they have money to train.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to solve the problem before we get to that. So as I got in, I always been interested in credit and knowing that it's useful, it's powerful. Coming from a family who didn't have good credit, so I'm like, yo, I need to learn about this. So it didn't really change until I met with my boy Glad Credit. He introduced him to me. He's like, yo, you probably should do it. Now, at first I was inquisitive, asking him about how it goes before I jumped into it. And then he was like, yo, bro, you already have a platform, you have a community, and you can help them. He's like, yo, you know how many people you can help with this? And I ended up tapping in his courses, mentorship. And, you know, it was phenomenal. Everything that, you know, I needed, because I had one business credit card before I actually started working with him. And now I funded myself with like $250K. And between that, helping other entrepreneurs create LLCs, I funded probably over, you know, 1.3 million last year with all black entrepreneurs. So it's like it's so much value you can add to other people. And financial literacy is what the community needs.
What made you start listening to financial literacy? Or what made you be like, yo, this is important?
Being broke, man.
Yo, that's a fact. Yo, that is the simplest way you can say it. That is facts.
Yeah, man. Just struggling because I've been training for 10 years, but my first 6 years were hard, and most of it was hard mentally because I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, or I wasn't even able to understand how money works, and you know, I was trying to get my credit, you know, right for years. So I ended up, you know, getting it right, and then next thing you know, going back down. I'm like, yo, how does this work? You know, I used to, you know, take up books and realize, like, how can I get ahead in life? And I know I got to do something that's different from what everybody else is doing. And then once you actually learn, you know, how to leverage your credit, now it's like, yo, I actually don't have to save, you know, 100,000. I actually can, you know, go to the bank, use my credit, and get 100,000 in a couple weeks. Which just sounds crazy to a person. Say if you never even made it, never made 100,000 in your life, and somebody come up to you on Instagram and say, "I'll get you business fund in 3 or 4 weeks for 100K." You're gonna be like,
huh?
Scam.
Yeah, you think it's a scam.
Right? Some people be like, yeah, that's a scam. Yup.
Yeah, so you think it's a scam. So luckily, I have my brand established already. So a lot of people that do, you know, business funding and credit now, they haven't been, you know, established before the pandemic, or maybe just a couple years. So people already knew that I've been consistent with my brand. So when they see me get into financial literacy, it's like, yo, this is just new for KB, but I've watched him grow. I've seen his success. I've seen where he started at. So it makes him like, I don't think he would lie to me. You know what I'm saying? The trust value was already there.
Yeah.
Because I was a little, not skeptic, because I'm always doing multiple things, but you know, when it comes to financial literacy, you gotta really know people's financials to help them to go somewhere. So it was the people being uncomfortable. I'm like, yo, I know what I'm doing, and I know what it feels like to be broke. So I know what it feels like to be on both ends. So that was my thing, just being transparent with my brand.
All right. So here, all right. I hope the audience is ready. How do you fund your business?
Well, the best thing to do is actually make sure your personal is right. Your personal credit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So most people are like, oh, you can do it without your social, and it's like, it makes it much easier for you if your personal credit is right. Because on the business side, a lot of stuff they want you to personal guarantor. So it might not be a report, but they're gonna need your social to verify you. So if you owe, you know, T-Mobile 2,000, why should Chase give you 10,000? You know what I'm saying? It's just common sense. People don't really realize that. It's like, you're still attached to it. There's ways to get funding without your social, of course, but at the same time, it's much easier. So because it's like, if you don't, how you gonna make sure your business is right if your personal not right? Just think about that. It's like, you got to be on top of your business, but your personal is not in order.
Gotcha.
So the best thing to do is make sure your personal credit score is right. You know, you want at least a 680, but always shoot for more. No negative derogatory marks like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and you want your utilization to be down. So most optimal is under 10%, and then after that, after 30% is considered high risk.
Yeah.
So those are like a couple data points, and you want to have multiple accounts, at least 4 or 5 accounts.
Gotcha.
And your primary accounts. So your primary accounts that you own. So most people, they get a whole bunch of authorized users, and they'll have a $500 credit limit themselves. It's not gonna help.
Wait, so, alright, so, but before I get to fund my business with my personal credit, do I need an LLC?
Yeah, so that's the next step. Once your personal is right, I'm glad you said that. The next step will be getting the LLC.
Gotcha.
So you can get the LLC beforehand, of course, but you just can't do nothing with the LLC yet.
Gotcha.
So you get the LLC, you get that structured. I create those as well, or some people go to LegalZoom or these other sites.
Yeah, I need to get what you
Yeah, because I went to LegalZoom for my first business.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing. I was watching a YouTube video. It was a 10-minute YouTube video. It took me like 2 hours to figure out how to do the LLC. But you get your LLC, and after you get your LLC, you take the documents, your operating agreement, your articles, your filing receipt, you open up a business bank account. You want to make sure you have the bank account because now it's legitimized, and now when you actually do the funding process, you leverage that account. And then from there, as you pull from these different banks, you could run the play with different LLCs.
Gotcha.
But I won't suggest people do multiple LLCs if you never did one before. Just start with one.
And then work your way.
Yeah, manage that. Get some cash flow. After figure out what you're doing first. Also, so after you got the structure down, you gotta make sure you're gonna do real estate. You're gonna do Turo. You're gonna do Airbnb. You really want to, or you want to invest into your own business. You want to make sure you have a plan. So this way you can know how to, what to do with this capital. Because you get 100,000, you never had 1,000 in your account or access to 100,000. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna go to Neiman's. You're gonna go to Saks.
All types of
bottles.
Yes.
Because you can do it. So it's a mental change. You're realizing like, we're not buying liabilities. We're buying assets.
Facts.
So for those who don't know, a liabilities take money out your pocket. Assets bring money in your pocket. And that's just the idea I always try to vet my clients before we even get to the process. Because you can have a nice profile, but I'm like, yo, we got to figure out what you want to do first. I'm not. It's an integrity thing. I'm not funding you, you know, 100,000, and you're not sure how to manage the 1,000 that you got in your account. So you got to be real with yourself and understand, like, all right, if I'm ready for this, if I'm not ready, how do I get ready?
And I like that when you said, how can I get ready? I like that when you said that.
That's the question I was about to ask about all that. I'm like, one, if somebody wanted to get to you so that you can help them in the process, how? And two, it's like you just said, getting ready. How do you get to that point? Because I'm at that process right now. I'm like, okay, I know I have these things I want to do, but it's based off of me having to do the work on me. So it's like, okay, I know this is stuff I want, but how can I get my business to the point where where I don't have to be the one running everything, and I can move on to other stuff to add into it. So I'm just, me trying to figure that out is stopping me from even starting the paperwork to do my LLC at this point. That's where I'm at. Like, that's really where I'm at. So I'm like, all right. And I told him, I was like, my goal this year is to start my LLC. But I'm trying to figure out where to begin, where to start off at, make it happen.
Gotcha. So, I mean, one that people reach out to me on Instagram at KB the Trainer, you know, they could DM me. I have a link in my bio for bookings. And it's a free consultation. So, and that's another thing, too, like, people be so like wary to even ask for help in our community.
Yeah, that's
true.
You know, everybody want to get it with the bootstraps and by themselves, and it's like you actually cheating yourself on your growth, because everything that I learned from somebody else, and it made it much faster for me. So I would say get the LLC for the mental aspect. Get it first, because now you know you're invested. Like, you have skin in the game.
Gotcha.
So you don't want to just, you're going to be like, all right, I just paid my money, I got to do something with it. Unless it's disposable to you. Then I'll just charge you more.
Right.
But yeah, get the LLC, and then, you know, figure out what's your cost for what your investment, and what's going to be your return, and how long the return is going to take. Because, you know, especially with real estate, it's like, you got to know if you're going to get a return in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And then what is going to be the carrying cost for your investment? So what exactly do you want to invest in?
Well, it's not even investing. Like, for me, I do hair and all this. I do a bunch of hair.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I wanted to start out with that. And then starting out with that, I was going to work on, I had other things that I have ideas of what I want to do, which I wanted to help the community in a way. I'm trying to figure out can you even help the community? Camera. How can you help the community if you, without jeopardizing yourself as far as the income that you have coming in?
Gotcha.
You know, and then let alone that is moving on to, at some point I do want to invest in real estate, but I don't know much about real estate as of right now, so I have to work on figuring that out. You know, and just keep moving on from there.
When you say invest in the hair, you want to sell here?
No, I actually do here.
So you want to shop?
Doing it, yeah.
Oh, so
eventually, I want to have a shop. I want to be able to have that, but be able to also know it can run without me, and I don't have to be there every single day.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the best thing, especially for people that do a shop or like a brick and mortar setup, well, one, you got to figure out what's the overhead going to be, and then how much space you going to have. So how many chairs you going to have, and then how much you want to charge on a weekly basis from those chairs to help cover that overhead. And then you got to figure out, you know, the supplies, especially in the beauty products, you know, the restock and everything. You want to kind of manage that. And then also figure out the type of shop that you want to have, who you want to cater to. Yeah. So you want to cater to, you know, the natural people. You want to have a mixture of, you know, lash people in there, you know, nail techs in there. So all these different strategies, though, involves in how you want to market. So that's why it's important to, you know, talk with somebody that's doing it, or do your research on someone who will show you how to market. Because no matter what business you do, you could be the greatest hairstylist, but if you don't know how to reach people and they don't know how to reach you, then what good is it?
Marketing.
So the marketing, you have to be your first marketer before anything, no matter what business you're doing. Like with this podcast, we got a fire episode, but it's only reached 2 people.
Yeah.
Then we got to go back to the drawing board and figure out where we can invest that our capital to get those views, so we can get you know. And that's the part where I help people with, you know, just really strategizing, because there's some people who are gifted but nobody knows about them. You know, and you got your favorite store, in the hood, but it's not on Yelp. You know, everybody goes there because it's local, but once you go on Yelp or once you go on TikTok, now it goes viral. Everybody's going there, and then now it's blown up. It's just the marketing.
Gotcha.
And that's the plan that people missing. So even when it comes down to either you missing the marketing or you missing the funding. And that's why I try to solve the problems with people in those areas. It's like, yo, let's really figure out a plan. Let's really go to the drawing board of why you want to do this and who you trying to help. Because whatever you're doing, you got to be able to identify the problem that you're solving and who you solving it for.
Gotcha.
Once you get that, now you have a business.
So I want to go back to fund your business. So LLC, set that up. Well, of course, New York is different. It's because there's a lot of paperwork into that. Everybody else, because New York, you gotta get your articles of organization, of course, EIN, and then I think something about operating agreement, and then put it in the magazine, something like yeah. New York is different, y'all.
They want you to advertise it.
Yeah, they want you to advertise it. So everybody else, every state is different. But I know people from Arizona, people from the West Coast and down south watch this podcast too. So just check your state to see what of how to set up your LLC properly. So now I got an LLC, got that together now. But my personal credit is good.
But they gotta remember not to put their personal address on there.
Oh yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, virtual address,
virtual
phone
address,
number,
everything.
website,
Trademark, right?
Trademark, yeah.
Gotcha. So now we got that into place. Now, do you mean like business credit is how I fund my business?
Yeah, so it's two ways you can do it. We do personal and business funding.
Gotcha.
So the reason we do personal, well, I do personal. I usually say we, I'm always referring to my team, but the reason we do that because, like, go back to utilization, right? Mm-hmm. If the person only had, a Capital One credit card since they got out of high school, discovering it's $1,000, and then you're trying to build your profile, you want to spread that range out because as soon as you use $300, now is a red flag to the lenders because now you're at 30%. So what we do is we take that 1,000 on your personal profile and we stretch it out to like at least 70, 80K. So you can leverage up to, what is that, 20,000, 15,000 without being a negative mark.
Gotcha.
Or a red flag to the banks. So
Gotcha.
I help people out their personal and their business. So when it comes down to their business profile, you build a relationship with the different banks. So you go there, and we build a relationship with the banks because you get access to their products. So it's like a relationship with a girl. It's like you want to get close to her, you got to spend some money, or at least show some money.
Spend money, show money.
Yo.
You gotta have time, something.
Yeah, then you get access. So I don't want the women to cancel me. But I'm giving understanding for the viewers. I'm just giving it in lame terms.
Set example.
So the products you want to go after is, they have credit cards, lines of credit, and loans.
Yes.
So usually in the beginning, I suggest people get credit cards and lines of credit. You don't want to get a loan yet because if you're not sure exactly what you want to do, you will get an SBA loan and they will help you get started, based on your business of a new business.
What is SBA?
Small business loan.
Yeah.
And that's on the website, right?
Yeah. So a lot of banks offer that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
At SBA.com or?
Yeah, but it depends on the bank that you go to.
Wait, is it SBA.com or Gov?
Oh no, I will go to the bank.
Go to the bank. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
go to the bank because they'll help with the underwriting.
Gotcha.
And if they're not sure, then they'll split it with SBA and they'll split the loan with them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you go to the bank, you open an account, and then the bank specialist is gonna want you to open up new things, like, because that's how they make their bread. Wow. So you be like, I just want to make a deposit. You can make a couple transactions, and then after that, you could go and apply, for their credit cards or their lines of credit. And then
okay, so after, is that like wait? So the way how I see you're breaking it down, is that like a net 30 or DUNS or something?
Oh no, this is it's not a net
like
30.
a tier 1, tier 2, something like that.
No, it's not it's what do you call it? This is regular business bank cards. So like Chase,
Okay.
Yeah, Chase has, you know, a great program on the business side, Bank of America as well. So there's so many different things you can do on the business side, because some banks that we bring with personally, you don't realize they have business accounts too. And then the other play is dealing with the credit unions, because the credit unions, they print more, you know. Most of them you gotta either get invited or you gotta donate to get in. And then they're supposed to be for the community, so they're willing to give you more just based off your credit score. So if you have a great profile, you know, everybody knows about Navy Federal now. You know, once you in, it's like a little elite club, and you know they print, you know, good auto loans, low interest rates, and they were giving out a lot of capital with low interest cards.
Gotcha.
So the good thing about the commercial banks is they have more 0% interest, or I would say more rewards. So we do a mixture of both between community banks and big commercial banks.
Okay.
And then once your profile is ready, you can go and apply. But it's always good to nurture the account depending on the bank, because each bank got certain data points.
Okay.
So it gets fun because you realize each bank pulls from each bureau. So what that means is, you know, the main bureaus that they go by is TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So, you know, depending on the product, they're only going to pull from your Experian. So your Experian is 750 and your Equifax is 600. Then we know we're not going to do the Equifax banks. You feel me?
Right, that's true.
So it just strategize understanding where you pulling from and what's the requirement for this particular bank.
My thing is, how do you find out what banks pull from where? You have to call them and ask them, or
that's definitely the way where if you're not tapped in with anybody who knows funding, then you can call them and ask them, and that's how people find out. So now they have, like, you know, a list, you know, they call it secret lenders list, where you know where every bank pulls from. So anybody that's in funding, they pretty much know about certain banks pull from what. So, like, for example, Navy Federal pulls from TransUnion on the personal side.
Wow.
But if you go get the business Navy Federal card, it's pulling from Experian. So you're not gonna know that unless you do trial and error, or you know somebody that's tapped in. So, you know, that's why it's real fun, because some people, they'll see something on Instagram, like, yeah, I'm about to go do it, and the influencer will say, yeah, you just gotta do this, you gotta do that, and not realizing, yeah, that's a different type of card he applied for. Or you go to that bank and you get a different type of product, they'll pull from somewhere else. So Chase usually pull Experian.
Gotcha.
But if you get a Chase business line of credit, they might pull your TransUnion. And they did that with me. So it's like, if my TransUnion wasn't good at the time, I didn't want them to pull that. I wanted to pull my Experian. So it gets fun once you start getting into the game, understanding which banks pull from what and what each bank is looking for.
Okay, so this yo, now you're getting the gems. Okay, now we're getting the gems. Okay, yeah. So all right, so now, and that is the way how you fund your business properly.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, because the funding part, I wouldn't say it's easy because I'm in it, but it's not really the hardest part. Because once your profile is good, you get you 150, 200,000 in a couple weeks. But it's the repairing part that usually people have to go through. So most people credit is jacked up.
Gotcha.
And the average person, I believe, they have a credit limit of $2,500. And it's like, when you have that credit limit, you don't really have wiggle room to do certain things. So the biggest difference between personal and business credit is the utilization.
Gotcha.
So on the business side, on the personal side, once you go up 30%, it's high risk. You know, you'll see that red line on your Experian, like, you gotta chill out.
Yeah.
But on the business side, if you go over 30%, they don't care, because business is in to make money.
Gotcha.
So you can leverage your personal and your business, or understand that, yo, I can run up my business card, I'm gonna have to pay it back, but I'm saying it's not gonna be a negative effect on me. So it's all about understanding that, and also understand with business you get higher limits and you get more rewards and points.
Gotcha.
So, you know, a lot of stuff you do for your business, you know, like this podcast, your cameras, you know, to pay for, you know, this space, pay for ads, you want to put that on your business card. You know, one is tax write-offs. Also, two, you get points and rewards. And then certain cards we leverage because of the point system. So, like, Amex, y'all know about that, right?
Yes.
Now, I was, you know, when I got the platinum, you know, we just flexing. Because it's like, yo, this joint is heavy. So every time you go out to eat, everybody throw their platinum on the table, whatever. You know, you can mean something. But I missed out on so many points flexing when I should have used my gold. because my gold, I get more points. You get 4 times the points based on what you spend.
Gotcha.
So the highest thing that you spend on, they give you 4 times. I could have had, instead of 1 free trip, I could have had 3 or 4.
3 free trips.
They get trips. It depends on your card.
3 free trips on a platinum. Do y'all hear this?
All types of stuff.
So it just even being in the space, realize like, yo, while I'm using my platinum to flex, I need to use my gold for this. So you just want to strategize even better. Like even with me, I have my Chase Sapphire. It's on a personal card, but I actually forgot that it had an intro reward. So if you spend, I believe 4,000, you either get 40. Correct me. You either get 4,000. If you spend 4,000, right, you get $600 back, or you get 700 to travel.
Gotcha.
So I forgot about the whole intro spend. I spent 4,000 in the first 3 months, but I just didn't use that card.
First 3 months, you spent 4,000.
Yeah, because business expenses, you gotta, it adds up.
And it's a write-off. So wait. So you talking about this microphone, the camera, what we put in this podcast? That's a whole write-off.
Yeah.
But I got a question though. What if somebody decides they're gonna go take a course? Would that be considered, and it be towards their business? That's
educational. Yeah.
That's a write-off.
Yeah, I mean, my clothes is write-off, bro. This is my logo, so it's drip, but it's a write-off. It's advertisement. So even at my house, I have like a podcast set up where I have my neon light of my logo, and it's like I'm just writing off my whole living room now because I have my logo. This is part of my work. This is why I create my content, and I think that is the part why a lot of black people that I've run into, they are scared to legitimize their business because we used to everything under the table, off the books kind of thing.
Yeah,
but they don't know the benefits of leveraging, the tax system. Yeah. Or you don't understand the benefits of leveraging the LLC. So it's like, yo, don't send me, that money, send me cash or, pay me through such and such, Zelle or Cash App, which is fine depending on where you at in your business or what you're trying to serve. But when you have those traction, that paper trail come in, that can be written off at the end of the year.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm not a tax professional, but and I don't want to be like Ja Rule. But once you understand that there's different ways out here, because it's all about if you gross 100,000, you can write off 80 in expenses.
Gotcha.
That means you netted 20 for the year. So it all depends on the setup. But I write off everything that I can depending on what's my strategy. So when it came down to getting my crib, I'm like, all right, I gotta really start, documenting more of what I'm doing, because when it comes to real estate, entrepreneurs want to get a house, but if you try to get it through, FHA, you can't write off everything, because you write off things. Now you have 20,000 income. How you gonna get a $500,000 house? You could have made. It's not about what you make; it's what you keep. So if you made 400,000 and you still only net 30,000, you're less than a person who made 100 and netted 60, because you have a whole bunch of write-offs. So it's like you got to be strategized when they're actually pay your taxes and do what you got to do, but at the same time understand it's a strategy involved and where you want to go the next step. But once I learned that, I'm like, all right, I'm not too scared. Like I don't want to go to jail. That's what I told my account, because I came to her after my legals. I'm like, yo, this is all I got. And I'm just like, I don't want nobody to come after you. She's like, yo, you only made 10,000. Nobody's coming after you.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you be like, you good. And that's gems where this is a whole gem. Pen, paper. Pen, paper, everyone. Right. So so now when we get into, what is the FHA?
FHA is basically a government program, right? To help you get affordable. It's want to make it more affordable. So before it was like 20%, everybody do conventional. So they try to do it for first-time home buyers, right? Where you only, instead of you have to put down 20%, you put down 3.5%.
Gotcha.
But as you build your FHA out, they have something called PMI, which is mortgage insurance. So just in case if you default, they can still get their money. So you pay that on top of your loan.
Gotcha.
But when they get into real estate FHA, it's interesting because most people, they have the house hacking thing where they use FHA to get to multifamily property. And they try to say 4 units, but they don't really have 4 units like that out here in New York.
They don't. It's 3 or 2.
Yeah.
That's it.
Super expensive.
It's 2
So
or 3. That's it.
you can use, they use the FHA for that, live in one of them, and then rent out the rest.
Yeah.
And that helps pay for the mortgage, and then they might, do something with the basement, and they call it house hacking. So instead of you have to put up so much for a single family house, you keep doing that, and then you can refinance out of your FHA after it gets a certain amount of value, and then you can use your FHA again for the next property. So it's a lot of different strategies, and that's what it's like. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And if you don't know,
having the knowledge.
yeah, you
Exactly,
tap in.
right?
That's why you tap into people that's doing it, that's in these spaces, that's willing to give you a good game, and then you always want to fact check whoever you're speaking to. But in New York, you always learn there's more than one way to get through that door.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to work on that.
So, all right, so let's help out our audience out. How can we double our income?
That's a good question. I mean, it's a lot of different ways. I would say what helped me is self-development. Like, not even sound cliche, but you really want to invest in yourself as far as what you want to go after. So, like, for example, how you said you want to get the shop or salon, and then you actually want to build it for yourself.
Yeah.
So how do you get there? You got to speak to somebody who's already there or did it already. So that might be a course, to tap in, in that room or get the information from that person. But that can help you advance where you at now.
Yeah.
And that's just how I looked at it. It's like, let me invest in myself. So I bought courses. I paid for coaching, $5K here, $25K here. And it helped. It helped a lot. Now, it's not going to be perfect. Like, the same setup that you have is going to be different from what I have.
Yeah.
So, for example, for my trainer blueprint, my trainers, it's going to be different for them than for me. Like I said, I came out when Instagram didn't even have videos.
Yeah.
Like, the strategy I'm going to tell them is everything that I did and updated information.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's important to learn from someone that you could bounce your ideas off of, because YouTube, it changes. The source changes. Like, the rules change, the regulations change, and now you got to do things differently. So when it comes down to it, the doubling income, the first thing I always tell people before they even get to doubling is know your expenses. Like, you can't, I want to make 6 figures, but you don't even know what you're making right now or know what you're paying for. Because there's a lot of things that we're paying for on a daily that we're not really using or it's not beneficial to us.
Gotcha.
So every time somebody's like, I know my expenses, they either overshoot it or undershoot it. So, like, how much you spend per month? I spend like $1,500. And they'd be like, now you do the numbers, you got a breakdown. And it's like, nah, you actually spend $2,700 a month, but you only make $3,000, so something not adding up.
Yeah.
And that's when you make the readjustment. So you figure out where you at first, and then you figure out, where can you not benefit the most, but what resonates with you the most. I always tell people, invest in what you understand. So the more you understand and the more relatable it is for you, the easier it's for you to comprehend how to make the next moves, and something, of course, that you're passionate about, interested in, because now you're going to you can spend a whole Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. People like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm on the lock in. And I'm not saying like that's a necessity, but there's gonna be certain times where you're gonna be like, nah, I'm actually not going nowhere. I actually gotta watch the Zoom call, or I gotta jump on the Zoom call, I gotta study this course. And that's how you really double your income, by keeping investing. Because some people, they get to a certain point and they good. They'll get to their 100K, or they get to that 150. The 150 range is the worst range. Between 150 and 120, everybody just like, I'm good, I'm set for life. They don't want to keep going because a lot of people are making 50,000, 60,000. And you might feel like I'm better than my circle or people that I went to school with, but you just stop because you don't see nobody else going harder. So that's why it's important to realize, like, it's not a number you're chasing, but it's who you become in the process. So who I was, when I was making, I made 13,000 per year, and then I had like this app, it's called Wallet, and it was gross. It was like, I made 13,000. I'm like, damn, I don't even know how I did that. And I went to expenses, it said 13,000. I was like, damn, I don't know how I did that. And what I realized too is that it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So even if you don't double, but you make an extra 50,000, you figure out how to save another 50,000.
Gotcha.
That's a win.
Yep.
So what good is, I went from 100K to 200K. All right, but you spent 200K. So is you really winning here? It sounds good on paper, like, oh, I doubled my income, but yeah. Or even you double your income, but you're working twice as hard. Yeah. You're not working smarter, you're working harder.
That's the thing about businesses. What I've realized talking to different people is you have to know, okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna start it off here and then
increase your skill. Exactly.
But as you go, you should be able to get it to a point where your business can run efficiently without it always being you. In some way, shape, or form. Yes. And that's the way a lot of people I'm realizing is not doing, especially like older generations that do have businesses. They have not gotten to that point.
Yeah, it's a trust factor.
They still looking at it.
Because they don't trust nobody else to do their business like them.
Yeah.
But that's what comes if you're a good teacher or you have a good training system. But the other thing I don't like though is this microwave society where, you know, somebody learns something and then that's like me coaching on funding. Mm-hmm. I've only been doing it for, you know, less than a year. I have great success in it, you know, massive success in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. But I'm not just going to come out with a funding course. And I tell my people about funding, but I know training. I've been doing it. You know, it's been my bread and butter for the last 10 years.
Gotcha.
So when you try to rush the process of like, oh, I want to scale, you got to grow it first. Mm-hmm. Like, how you going to scale without growing? Yeah, definitely. Because most people, I want everything automated and, you know, I just don't want to do that. I want to kick my feet up. You got to know how to run your business first. And I didn't realize
efficient yourself.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until I got assistants and I got VAs. And it was like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, I don't even know. And now I'm paying this woman to help me and I don't even know how to tell her to help me. She was like, well, I'm like, what do you need me to do? She was like, yo, just write down everything you do. And I write down everything I'm doing. I'm like, damn, I'm doing a lot.
And this is a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
Yo, that's gold.
When I realized that, it's like, yo, I want to have my business automated to a certain extent, but at the same time, you got to stand the controlling forces of your business. Mm-hmm. So I know you're going to minimize it where it's like, what are the main things that's going to bring in the income and the most important.
Yes.
So, but you got to know every position first before you can tell her how to do it. Because if she didn't come in and do something and then something happened, she ended up leaving, now you don't know nothing. Now you have more demand, more clients to attend to, and now you're just going to fall. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's important to take your time with growing it. And then at a point, you'll know when you're ready to scale, when business is in fluctuation, when you're losing money from having too much business. Okay. When you get to that point, it was like, I really need to figure something out. And that's why with me with training, it was like, I was getting so many inquiries where it's like, I can't speak to 30, 40 people a day anymore because I'm trying to train people and I'm also trying to have time with myself or grow this another business. I need someone doing the inquiries for me. And you'll know when to do it, but if some people try to do it too soon and then you're not making no money.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you said about investing, right? To double your income, invest in yourself. Okay. Now, some of our audience is gonna be like, all right, cool. Now I know how to invest in myself. But still double my income. Like let's say for you, fitness, real estate, clothing line, those, like, let's say those 5 incomes you can have, right? Is that also invested in yourself?
Yeah, I would say definitely. I think the other misconception is, you know, multiple streams of income, right? People think,
okay, so multiple streams of income.
Yeah,
okay.
But it's a way to do that. So, and I can speak on it because I was one of those people, like, I want to have multiple streams. I want to have 7 different streams. It's not what you want. You want one stream that you can run up in 7 different ways.
That's a ball.
So that comes with you doing, like, me training is one way. Me personal training, then me virtually training, then me having, you know, merch for my clients to purchase, me having clothing for the purchase, or me having, you know, products for the purchase, and then also me coaching other trainers. It's all from one thing. And then for me having a gym space, say if I own a gym and I had other trainers come in, now they're paying for the space. You know, and if I own a space, now I'm getting money on the real estate side of it. So that's just from one stream. And I wish I would, I'm glad I tried different things in my journey. Yeah. But lock in on one thing first, build that out, and then, you know, go into the next thing, because there's so many different ways you can run it up with, you know, ebooks, with courses, with, you know, masterminds. webinars. There's so many different, strategies you can use, but, start with one thing and then, run it up from there.
That's a ball. Xavier?
Yeah.
All right. So, any questions? Not yet?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about your non-profit.
Oh, Feeding the City.
Oh, that's a whole
Talk
other thing we gotta talk about.
Yeah, let's go.
It's a whole other thing.
Feeding the City is a campaign that I started actually my first year of training. So I always wanted to give back as a kid. Like, that was always my thing. I always giving back, to my friends or whatever I can, doing community service. But in particular, I seen how wasteful we are when it comes to holidays, just consumerism. So I'm like, I'm talking about mother, like every Thanksgiving we do the same thing. Like, we buy all this food, we cook for 3 days.
Buy the food.
Yeah.
Buy
the food.
Buy food.
Oh, my fault. Okay,
Yeah.
buy food.
So
Okay.
we buy all this food, we make it, and the next thing you know, after 2 days later, 3 days later, we tired of it and throw it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, why do we do that? And this is me, asking myself this, since I was young. And I'm like, what would be dope if, I know they have different soup kitchens and stuff like that, but not for nothing, it's not the home cook. It's not the best
It's
food.
not at
So I'm like, what if we were able to give them hot, fresh meals on Thanksgiving? Like, people that's less fortunate.
Yeah.
And I told my mother about it. She was like, so what you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna give away food. She was like, well, not my food. I'm like, nah, ma, I'm gonna get donations, and then we gonna cook it, and then we gonna give it out. And my platform, again, is what helped me, because I asked my clients, my friends at the time, and they supported it. I just put it out there. And that's what the power of social media when it's used in a good way. Where if you put something out there, there's somebody who's thinking like you, but they just didn't do it. But if you create the platform, now they'll be able to tap into what you're doing, your movement. And we did 52 meals the first year. We went to the train stations where we knew people that usually be, out there, like homeless. And it was so hard for me to try to give, because they were just either wasn't answering their phone, or it was like, nah, we can't take it.
Gotcha.
So after I put out the first year, one of my close friends, he's like, yo, bro, I want to be a part of that. Like, it's always like that every year. Somebody always say, yo, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Went from 52 meals to 400 meals. And same thing with him. He said he was a part of it. More people said he wanted to join. Then, churches got behind what we was doing. And then from there, went from 400 to 1,000. And I'm like, yo, this is actually bigger than what I expected. Next thing you know, we doing 2,000. Now we're trying to do 2,500. And then we became, again, had partnerships with Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. A lot of small black-owned businesses supporting. I mean, people cooking turkeys 2 days before Thanksgiving to give away.
Yep.
Like, you know how the kitchen is. Like, it's
they
throw
it down.
One thing I would love to see, like black-owned businesses. You know how some restaurants, they have food that they just throw away at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why throw it away when you can give it to somebody and eat it, and you want to get rid of it anyway?
Exactly. And that was the whole concept to attack. And then as we kept going, it kept getting bigger. But the best thing about it is that more young people became a part of it. And when they became a part of it, I mean, they 12, 11, 13 years old.
That's good, a good age to put that in.
That's good, yeah.
And they like, yo, I want to give. I want to give back. I want to serve. And, everything I do, we make it culture. Like, we do it, we make sure it's lit. So we did, fundraisers, bowling parties, basketball tournaments, brunches, so many different things involving the culture what we already do. And it really was a vibe, like, to give back. So changing that, and people like, yo, I want to get back this year. I want to get back this year. I want to do Feeding the City. And I'm like, so one of the funniest moments is where I was training one of my clients. And I always told my clients afterwards, like, yo, what you doing for Thanksgiving? And she was like, oh, I'm actually going to be a part of this dope group called Feeding the City. I was like, word? She was like, yeah. And she explained, she was like, yeah, they give back. It'll be a whole bunch of young people and just be lit. Like, we give out to the homeless, and, it's just a good feeling to get back. And I'm going to do that again this year. So she was doing it for 2 years.
And you didn't even know.
I didn't even know. And that's how big it became. Because one year we had like 150 volunteers. At some point we had to turn people away. Like, yo, we don't got enough for you to do, bro. Like, we got somebody taking pictures. We got somebody holding the door. Because what it is, we used to set up at Salon. has a salon. It was on Jamaica Avenue.
Okay.
And we used to set up, and we had food prep. So we have different shifts of people come in, help, drop off the food, prepare the food, we put it in trays, and then we have a team of dispatchers who bring it to the shelters or they bring it to the streets and they give it out.
Gotcha.
So we had like a whole assembly line system in there, and like Feed the City would help me grow every year to be a leader and a better businessman. It's like my first company because training I just deal with me and the clients, but now
you gotta have all these other people up.
And everybody asking me like, KB, what I'm supposed to do? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I never did this before.
Gotcha.
So I learned so much on the fly and learning how to, lead people and structure them and talking to them in a certain way.
Okay.
So each year I got better with my communication because there's so many things like, yo, bro, didn't I tell you to bring the folks with you to the shelter? Didn't I tell you to do this? And it was like, I learned how to have more patience and trust more people to get things done because as it got bigger, I got away from being a contact of the people that's in the street.
Gotcha.
I became like the dispatcher and the admin work of sending groups out. And it was powerful, man. Like every year, it puts me in a frenzy, and it makes you think like, yo, what if we do this on a daily? Because the whole community is coming together. Like people are making turkeys, they're donating, and you see so much power within ourselves.
Yes.
Like we literally, fed thousands of people with a few $100s.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many more people we can help out there? And then as we helping these people, realize all of them not on drugs, all of them not, alcoholics. A lot of them just have stories and lost their families due to, recession. One dude was a stockbroker. He made bad investments.
Yeah.
So they have real stories and they're talented. So when I learned that, and I make sure I tell people that, because you have people that come with it, where they just come in for the clout. They come in to take their picture, their selfie, that they did something and go about their business. So I had to structure that, like, listen, we're not doing that. Even certain people try to attach themselves. Politicians try to attach themselves to what I was doing. And it was like, yo, how do you get all these young people out here? This is amazing. You should come to this. I'm like, yo, this is not what it's for. Like, that's something that I never wanted to take any type of money from or whatever for my own benefit. Everything was like, yo, I want to give back. I want to put this in as a community. Because when it came so much bigger than me, I'm like, nah, I have to serve, So, and also for seeing other entrepreneurs and millennials, because I think we don't care about nobody else.
It's true.
Picking, folding tables, cleaning up. Like, I did it, whatever it took. And some nights we ain't eat till like 8 o'clock.
But at least y'all know.
PM.
Yeah, PM.
But at least y'all know that you still have growth. You started out just doing it for one holiday.
Exactly.
But you have a whole year, which is what, 250 days, 50 something days of the year, or whatever.
Yeah.
You can grow to do it where you can do it once a week or however, wherever you want to end up. But you can grow to that.
And it's funny you said that because my other boy, after like the 3rd or 4th year, he was doing it with someone else. And it was so crazy because when we get back, we saw like a different team of people. And then I met him because of acting. So he's like, what you doing for Thanksgiving? I'm like, yo, I'm giving back. He's like, where I'm giving back to? I'm like, oh, well, this is what my program does. He's like, that's what's up. And then we end up teaming up. He started joining, and he started doing Christmas. So on Christmas, then we give out toys and have like a festive party. He dressed up as Santa, and we go to the shelters. And and that's how usually a movement starts, with just one idea. And I never take credit and say I did this. I'm like, no, the community did this. I started it, I put it out there, and I just brought people together. But it always grows to something else. So it just shows the fact of whatever idea you have, you got to put it out there, because there's somebody that's waiting on you for you to be the catalyst, or they could be a catalyst for you to help bring it to fruition. And it's been dope, bro. It's like it helped me get in spaces I never thought I would get into.
Now, bringing it back to being a nonprofit organization, for somebody that say they wanted to begin the process of doing that instead of LLC, they want to do a nonprofit, would it be the same thing?
Nah, when a nonprofit is, you gotta file 501c3, and basically you gotta have an actual board as well, and it's a lot more paperwork than LLC. LLC could be done in a day, but with nonprofit, they have one thing. My other boy, his name is Dave. He's got a nonprofit called Showing Hearts, and they cater to nonprofits. So if you need help with your writing, you need help with the grants, you don't know anything, you just got an idea, then they reach out to them. So that's the best thing about it, is that we have these things in our community that we should know about, but we don't, because it's like we got to be tapped in with a certain spaces.
Gotcha.
So that's why, you know, information is powerful, because it could be that one thing that you feel has been your barrier, where somebody I can get that done easily. And you think about, like, yo, this whole year I've been sitting on this thing, this is stopping me. And if I just speak more or tell people about it, because most people have this idea, like, I'm gonna go in my cave, I'm gonna create the mastermind idea, when I come out, y'all gonna see me, like, and it's like, yo, it's not like that. You gotta put it out there, because as you get feedback from certain people, you'll be able to know how to nourish it and how to, you know, make adjustments. And you never know who wanna help you, because we always think about, yo, people gonna hate, but you never know who wanna help.
That's
what I'm saying. One thing that with so many people I do know, they worry about, well, I want to share my idea, but then I feel like I'm sharing this idea, and I feel like at some point somebody might take my idea and move on with it and keep going, and then I don't get a chance to do it. So it's just like, I tend to think about it, I'm like, but you can't think like that. Because when you think like that, it's like, it's messing you up. Like, for me, I feel like it's so many people in this world, and just like hair salons, you got barbershops, corner stores, you got all these different places. They're always doing the same thing. It's just different people. But it don't matter how you do, or how your environment is. I guess the people you're reaching, but also the environment you bring. Because every environment is not the same. I've gone to the hair salons and the people are rude. You got rude people in this one, and you got calm people in this one. Or they have certain vibes where they're playing certain type of music that just makes people want to be around each other and be cool. You know? So I've noticed that, and I'm like, you gotta change how you think about what you're trying to do. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that just go back to the scarcity mindset in our community. So it's like, you grew up, if you had a nice bike, you had to protect that nice bike, because
he brought it back. He brought it back.
And we so accustomed to, you know, governing ourselves so much. So when it comes down to open up, it's like, nah, because, you know, you might have one up on me, or you might take what I have. And, you know, we try and change that with that in the culture, by, you know, putting out the positive energy and giving back and doing things just off the strength. Because actually, to mention Glad again, that's my guy, because we think alike. And
shout out to Glad Credit, man. Shout out, yo.
He's a big giver. A lot of people don't know that. Like, he's a master with the credit and the funding, but he's a big giver when it comes down to, like, person. My mother boy Lay, he has his own planner. It's called Championship Planner. So meanwhile, I'm in his community. He's like, yo, if anybody buy this, the first 5 people that buy it, send me the receipt and I'll give you the money back. There's no benefit for him to sell Lay's entrepreneur planner, but he's just showing love just because he know the value in it, and know that if his students have this planner, they have a better success rate. And it's like, when we do things like that, people will be shocked or taken back by it. Like, are you sure? Like, what I got to do? I'm like, yo, you got to do nothing. So I did it for him for his course, because it was so impactful, his Steps to Wealth course, and I got it for free in a raffle. So I'm like, yo, I'll get it for 5 people, because it was on sale for like $97 at the time. And, you know, I think it's like $1,500 now, so they should take advantage. So I bought 5 of them. I said, yo, I'm offering 5 of them for 5 people. And he was like, what I gotta do? Like, I said, all you gotta do is tell me what's gonna benefit you if you do get your credit right, or what's your plan? And so many people commented on the post or liked it, and only probably 6 people actually what you wanted. No, actually 4 people actually only wrote it. And it's like, yo, why are we doing this? And it's because they're afraid of the transparency of being vulnerable, or they're afraid that, like, you might say I own you or something, or I might try to, you know, I don't know, shit on you, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's not the case, but we so used to that, where people, you know, we see that more often. I would say it's not, the positive have been out there, but it's not really been shown. So when you do have positive images, even when we was doing Feeding the City, it's like, oh, why are you showing it? I'm showing it because I'm bringing awareness to it. I'm not showing it for brand purposes to say we give back. I'm showing it because this is what we're doing. And that changes the culture. So I think if we show more positivity of just genuineness, like, I don't want nothing from it, then it wouldn't be so skeptical when somebody come approach you.
When it comes down to, you know how all these people on social media give it back. Some people, you gotta kind of look at it how they're doing it to know they're really doing this and they mean this.
Yeah.
And you got the other ones, they just doing it for clout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, it was a couple
You
people
come down to that.
that be reaching out like, oh yeah, you know, you got a platform, so we probably should do this. I'm like, nah, like I'm not doing that. And they'll try to hit me with like business, like it's just strategic. No, it makes sense. I'm like, nah, it's not purposeful for me. Like you just like Fab said it best. He like you're trying to be beneficial because I'm beneficial, and what that means is like people will see what you have, and they will just try to get close to you so they can get whatever they want to get out of it. And the way to do that is to be transparent in the beginning of what you want. Like, yo, I want to work with you because this is what you offer, and I know my brand can do this, and this is what I offer. But if you try to be like, oh, I'm just trying to help, and you try your own ulterior motive, then that's not genuine. So, you know, people don't know how to approach when it comes to, you know, business deals or just the lingo. And I always tell people, they just ask for discounts. I'm like, never ask for a discount. Ask for a person if they do affiliate program.
Say that one more time.
What?
No, I'm serious. Say that. No, I'm so serious. Say that one more time, please. No, I'm dead serious. Say that one more time, please.
Like literally, like never ask for a discount unless you ask if to do an affiliate program. So if you do an affiliate program, that means you're gonna bring value, you know, to the program. So a business owner always wants more business, and they understand if I gotta pay you or give you 10-20% for somebody that I never was gonna reach, and you bring them to me, that's good business. And I'll give you 10-20% off. I'll give you money off, or I'll give you payout for bringing people to me. So even my affiliate program for funding, it's like, yo, if you bring somebody to me, I'm all willing to give you a percentage for helping me out, and now that could be your side income. So you can make, you know, up to $1,000, $3,000 per person that you send, and you don't have to work for me. You don't have to promote me or post me. You just sharing my business with them.
You know what?
But to me, that's word of mouth right there.
Matter of fact,
like, as they always
let's do this live. Let's do this live. Can DC Incentives, can our audience get in your course?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's go.
That's definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, most definitely.
We doing this live. All right, so
it's the way to go.
You mind, you know, so talk about your book, your what you're coming out. What's next?
But so right now the Trader Blueprint, especially by the time this drop is definitely out. The Trader Blueprint is for upcoming trainers, so that's what I'm targeting. So people that have, you know, 0 clientele to, you know, 10 clientele, whatever it is, long as that you're willing to invest in yourself and follow the blueprint. So I'm helping them, showing them how to market, structure, and fund their business. And when it comes down to it, most people need direction or just even how to go about where do I train, how do I train, how many people should I train, should I start with one-on-one, should I start with groups, should I start with classes, who do I go after? So I teach them how to structure, you know, I identify their clientele and help them identify their expertise, because you got to know what you're good at first before, you know, we even go even further, or you got to be willing to try something if you never trained anybody before. And so, and then in the course, I also teach them about credit and, you know, about funding. So need funding, that's part of my mentorship where I can fund them. So for example, they're like, I want to grow my brand, but I want to get a studio, I don't want to train in a gym. All right, bet, I'll help you get 50, 100,000 so you're able to get your studio, you'll be able to run out to other trainers, or you'll be able to get equipment, whatever you need, or you know, if you want to market yourself. So, and the reason I created that because I want to give people the game and not be like a gatekeeper to my experience. So not only, I'm not telling them how to just get more clients. Like anybody can do that. Just, you know, just put yourself out there and post more. I'm talking about how to structure their business and then also have time freedom for themselves without implementing and having systems in play. Okay. Like know what it like to have a system for your business, because if you're not there and it's not running, then, you know, it's not. Yeah. And that was my biggest thing, where I go away on vacation and I spend some money. I'm like, damn, I gotta go back. I gotta get X amount of clients. You know, so I never really enjoy an understanding of having a business set up and also having a system set up when it comes to leads. Because just like if you do any business, you got to be the promoter, you got to do the back end, you got to know the admin work, you got to edit your content, you know, then you got to be a creative director for your content. So there's so many different angles that needs to be done, and doing that by yourself, it's gonna be stressful. So
you gotta learn all that stuff if you don't know it yet.
Exactly. So my whole thing is trying to shorten the gap for other people. Of course, they gotta put in the work. Can't do it for them. And you know, But my thing is to give them the game that I didn't receive, and give them the knowledge on what I know now as well, and being tapped into my network. So people always ask, like, it'd be so funny. My clients, like my training clients, like, yo, KB, you got an accountant? You know somebody that does an electrician? Like, everybody's asking me for so many different things, and it didn't bother me, but I'm like, yo, I'm really the plug for these people because I'm willing to share my resources.
Everybody's lying.
Yeah, and I'm willing to, because I have no loss in that. And then I also have affiliate programs set up. So it's like, you know, it just makes sense. I get to help you, you know, I get to help their business, and I get, you know, a PC off of that.
Let's go.
But yeah, the Training Blueprint is it's a dope course, and I'm excited to really give the game out where somebody can really follow step by step what to do. And coming up in the fitness world, you know, a lot of experienced trainers don't be, you know, willing with the information. They'll tell you gotta keep grinding, bro. You know, you gotta grind harder. You gotta put in the work.
What is that? What is that right about that?
Yeah,
Like that's.
It's not giving no information.
Exactly. Stop. Stop it. That means stop it. Stop. Stop. Oh, you gotta work hard. Be disciplined. Have faith. Stop it. That's done. Stop with that nonsense. That is old school stuff. We're done with that. We're done with that knowledge.
Yeah, yo, it's a lot of cookie cutter knowledge, and so I really try to dive into the person as far as what they want, and out of fitness, what they want out of life, and also really attack the mindset too. So it's like you come and be a trainer or a better trainer, but you're gonna just be a better person overall. And when it comes down to the marketing, we really strategize the people that you want to target and go after. So, for example, if you want to train people that does major weight loss, you want to train people to do sculpting, you want to train, you know, people for athletic training, or, you know, whatever you want to do, we want to finite that and define it so you know how to target those people. And, you know, when you go to target people, then you know your price point, which you could charge certain people, because you can't be charging, you know, teachers arm and a leg if you know the education field, because they don't make that much. So, and also when it comes down to, you know, your timing too. So certain people like, well, I only train at this time, I train at that time, depending on who you want to go after. So I train nurses and I train teachers. Nurses, they don't care if you train in the morning, and they don't want to get up too early because they already have a stressful, you know, work day.
12 hours a day.
Yeah. So I only train at certain time slots. So I train at 10 and 11, or I train at 7 to 8 in the evening. So 10, 11 in the morning, 7 to 8 in the evening. That was my slots. And if it wasn't in between those slots, I wasn't training you. And this way I control my schedule. Yeah. And people's like, oh, can you train me at 5 in the morning? No, I'm not one of those people. And I think the problem is that people have a problem saying no because they want money. Yeah. So you're just trying to bring in clientele and realize you don't even like getting up early, but why are you training this person at 5 in the morning? And now you tell them to do 10 burpees and they looking at you crazy. and now you mad that you got this client. So I really tell them like, yo, based on who you are, because so many people offer me so much money to train them at 7 or train before work. I'm like, yo, I don't even get up that early, so why would I train you? It's like, you don't want money. I said, that's not the money I want. Like, you don't have the money I want. The money I want is between these time frames that I wanted. Now, granted, I didn't start off that way. I started training at like 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I worked my way out. And I figured out, like, how do I want to structure my day? Most people don't think about that because you're so used to working when somebody tells us to work. Yeah. So now that you're on your independent, you know, business owner, you get to set up your time frame. Chick-fil-A is not, don't care how much money you got, you're not getting there on a Sunday. You're not. Don't make it that. So those people know I gotta be there Saturday right before they close, or I gotta wait all the way till Monday. Yep. Yeah. That's how they structure it. You can't do nothing about it.
That's so ball he just dropped. That's so ball. Yeah, that's balls. Yo.
So that was my thing is structuring my business the way I wanted to be structured, and then you make adjustments over time. And when it came down with people, they was like, "Can I do a free trial?" No. What are you doing? Because now it's about my time. You know, it's about my time, and then you see what I have done. Like, there's a difference in me training somebody to be on the phone with them. So that's why it's kind of funny when people are like, yo, I know you don't do freestyle free trials, so when I do say free consultation, it kind of scares them. But I never did free trials in training because if you've seen my work constantly over and over, what are we trying out for? let's get it going or let's not get it going. And if anything, you could pay for the day, but you're not just going to just train for free to see. I want to see how it is. I tell people how it is. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be making jokes about you, but I'm gonna help you. I'm probably gonna be dancing. You know, I'm very sarcastic. I'm very funny, but I'm gonna make sure we get the job done. Right. And that's why you want to be so transparent in your marketing. And I tell people, I'm not a drill sergeant, so I'm not gonna be screaming at you. I'm not gonna be in your ear. That's just not my style. Like, I don't even do that regularly, and I don't like people do that to me. So if you need a trainer that's gonna be screaming at you up your ass, then that's not me. Like, I'm gonna be on you, hold you accountable, but it's a way that I do it where it's natural to my personality.
Gotcha.
So all these things are needed because now you put that into your market and how you structure your business. So when it came to me doing funding, it's the same principles I use. It's like, now I'm only focused on people that's in a business now. Like, you gotta have a business or have an actual plan set already before we even get to it. But I prefer people to have a business already because it's much easier when it comes down to them making decisions. Because that's the hardest part of people, is making the decision. It's like asking women what she want to eat. Like, you'll be mad about that she don't know. And it's like, yo, why you keep asking her, bro? You know what she gonna say.
And then I don't want to get canceled, but then I don't want to get canceled, but I know women's gonna be like, then leave then. No, you a man, then I don't want to get canceled.
I'm not gonna say nothing because I have done that, so they'll be like, oh, you keep asking the same question and you know what I'm gonna say, so.
Oh God.
Yeah, so
If I tell you in the moment, I don't want this and I don't want that, and you better think about something else.
You better think about something else. I need you to provide and lead. I want to get canceled. Don't cancel me, y'all. Don't cancel me.
I'm on the show with you. No, there ain't gonna be shit.
But yo, it's just understanding communication and psychology, and that's what really, that's what really my course is about, is understanding the psychology of how you want to grow your business.
Okay, so now that so website, how can they grab the course when everything reach you, everything
laid out.
Everything I made it simple, people, so everything is really filtered through my Instagram. Okay. So at KB the Trainer, and the reason I do that because that's what people at. I'm on TikTok as well as KB the Trainer.
Gotcha.
With my website, when you click on the link in my bio, it has the link to everything that I do, whether you want to get the trainer blueprint, and even when it comes down to it, I have a consultation before even people purchase my course. It's not you go buy it in a bio, because I'm really filtering who the people, because
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, and also I'm realizing people will buy so many courses, be a course junkie, and never actually utilize.
And apply to it, definitely. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want whole people say, oh, I got it, but never actually implement. I really want to vet the people because I know I'm not just giving them a course, I'm giving them more than that. So I really try to, cut that off where it's like they can't really just sign up and that's it. Like, even with my training, like people say, how do I get to you? I'm like, well, this is my system. You got to set it up this way. And I teach people, you got to set it up a certain way because it's like you going to the doctor, like, yo, I'm about to pull up on you tomorrow. I'm sick. Like, no, we got to book an appointment. You got to wait 2 or 3 weeks so understand that this is how I structure it, because you're not going to miss that appointment.
Absolutely.
But if you're quickly accessible and people just just get your product or service that fast, they could fall off that fast. And so that's just my whole logic when it comes down to it. It's like, if something I really want, I'm gonna go after it, and I don't make it a chase, but it's like, I really want to vet and ask you questions and figure out if this is for you. Because if I can't help you, then I'll tell you I can't help you. I'm not just gonna take your money. I don't move like that. So they can find me on Instagram at KB the Trainer, Facebook as well, and also TikTok, KB the Trainer. I gotta work on my Twitter. Like I heard I should be having that. So I gotta.
Twitter is good.
Tap it.
Is it even worth?
I don't know if it's too late. I don't know if I missed the wave, but I guess just to have some type of blueprint on there.
Oh, good.
But yeah, they can definitely tap in and follow me. Definitely you get some gems, some motivation, some credit tips, funding tips. But more importantly, I show people the process. And I show people the process and really be transparent with my story, because there's a lot of ups and downs with this entrepreneurship that people don't realize.
And they don't say it.
Yeah, they don't speak on it. They think everything is a highlight, and it's like, nah, it's a lot of lowlights too. And my whole thing is to inspire people and be the example I didn't have.
And last question for our audience, and final thoughts on everything. Final thoughts. And then after we're closing it out.
I bet I gotta come with something else, huh? My thing is, believe in your dreams. Like, not even be cliche, but there's gonna come a point in time where everything that you want is on the other side of your fears and your challenges and your obstacles. And the best thing that worked for me is having faith and keeping God first in my journey. And don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 10. Like, understand that, you know, you have to run your own story, your own race. And at the end of the day, if you look at your hands, nobody has the same fingerprint as you, no matter what. No matter if you look alike, that's your twin. Everybody has their own fingerprint. You can only win as yourself. So everybody else is taken. So be yourself. And I think that is the beneficial thing that I learned, because I wasn't an average trainer. I never planned on being an average trainer. And that's what got me to this point, by being authentic to myself and not being one way on camera and being another way off camera. So stay true to yourself. Run it up, keep God first, and get your credit right.
That's the end of the episode. That was a ball the way how he just dropped it too. He was like, get your credit right. That's it. That's the end of the. So y'all, that's it. Yo, thank you, KB. Thank you for everything. Yeah.
Happy to be here, man.
You already know, man. So let's get it, man. That's the end. That's it. And that's a gem drop. Thank you.